Icarus. Release date: on 20 November 2021. Platform: Windows. Icarus is an upcoming open-world survival crafting game from DayZ creator Dean Hall. Designed to be played solo or with up to 8 players, the game has you exploring a harsh alien wilderness in limited time sessions due to the planet's harsh conditions. While on the surface, you'll go around completing faction missions, gathering valuable exotic materials, and defending yourself from wild animals. At the end of the session, you'll return to your ship with any collected materials and have an opportunity to craft new gear and conduct research for future upgrades. System Shock Redux. When the original System Shock was released in 1994, critics praised the game's relatively realistic physics and the scale of its 3D environments. Today, the series is remembered for elevating the first-person genre even though its success was short-lived. Fortunately, developer Night Dive Studios is looking to bring the original back to life with a backer-funded remake currently in the works. The scrappy developer is taking their time with the project to best recreate the look and vibe of the original, going as far as to consult former Looking Glass Studio staff. Undying. Platform: Windows. Undying is a linear-focused survival game that sees you playing as a mom who becomes infected with a zombie virus at the start of the game. With only days remaining before her transformation is complete, Endling must teach her son as many valuable skills as she can to prepare him for the challenges that lay ahead. There will be instances where the player will have to succumb to their zombie instincts to protect themselves and the child. The game features some common survival game activities such as finding shelter, gathering and refining materials, and fighting enemies to stay alive. The Eternal Cylinder. Platforms: Windows, PS4, Xbox One. Xeno Clash developer Aceteam is currently working on an open-world survival game called The Eternal Cylinder. In it, players are tasked with guiding various species of bizarre-looking creatures through life as they try to survive in an ever-changing world filled with a myriad of dangers. This includes run-ins with predators, combating thirst and hunger, and avoiding a massive, continually moving roller that kills anything in its path. As creatures explore, feed, and essentially thrive, they'll start to experience evolution as their bodies adjust to the environment. Away. The Survival Series. Platforms: Windows, PS4, Xbox One. Have you ever wanted to become one of the animals you see in a nature documentary? In Away. The Survival Series, you can do just that. The game sees players stepping into the role of a sugar glider who's forced to flee his home after a powerful storm passes through. In search of safety and a new home, you'll explore a sprawling open world, all while grappling with your unique position in the food chain. Away is currently in development at Breaking Walls, an indie studio composed of designers and programmers who have worked on franchises like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. The Riftbreaker. Platforms: Windows, PS4, Xbox One. If you enjoy games that incorporate base building into their survival gameplay, you may want to keep the Riftbreaker on your radar. Currently in development by Exor Studios, the game sees you stepping into the shoes, or rather mecha suit, of Ashley S. Novak, a highly skilled scientist, commando. Tasked with building a foundation for future colonies to inhabit a hostile alien planet, Novak and her mecha suit, Mr. Riggs, set out to connect space across vast distances by building a network of bases. Combat is akin to a twin-stick shooter and sees you spraying enemies with Mr. Riggs' machine gun in addition to a rocket launcher, a sword, and possibly even more down the road. Endling. Platforms: Windows, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. Endling tells a not-so-uplifting tale about a near future where the world falls into ruin on account of mankind's negative impact on ecosystems. Presented as a 3D side-scroller, the game focuses on the destructive nature of the human race by casting you as the last remaining fox on Earth. With resources scarce, you're forced to do whatever it takes to care for your pups while keeping yourself alive in a hostile world teeming with predators and other dangers. However, your world truly comes crashing down when one of your pups gets taken, forcing you to rely on its scent to track down the kidnapper. Trash Sailors. Platforms: Windows, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. Sporting striking hand-drawn visuals, Trash Sailors is an upcoming co-op survival game that sees up to 4 castaways sailing across the open seas. During your travels, you'll have to keep a watchful eye for any parts of your ship that need repairing in order to prevent sinking. Additionally, floating trash in the water can be gathered to craft weapons and fuel as well as unlock new upgrades for your boat. The game includes dozens of maps with unique hazards and enemy types, including swamp crocodiles, Arctic pirates, and toxic sharks to name a few. Occupy Mars. The game. Platform. Windows. If you like your survival games to have highly technical gameplay systems, Occupy Mars might be right up your alley. The game sees you exploring the Red Planet in hopes of establishing a colony for future generations to inhabit. Your job is to build and upgrade your base, research nearby regions, gather resources, grow crops, generate oxygen, and much, much more. There's an emphasis on realism and simulation, but not to the point of being unforgiving. That said, expect plenty of deaths early on as you come to grips with life on Mars. Smalland. Platform. Windows. As much as we love Grounded, there's enough room for two small-scale survival games that let us live out our fantasies, and nightmares, of being shrunk down and let loose in a sprawling backyard sandbox. However, to see the best Smalland's world has to offer, you'll have to brave brutal weather conditions and survive run-ins with various enemies including spiders, birds, rats, lizards, and more. Fortunately, there is an abundance of hidden resources you can use to craft armor, weapons, shelter, and other tools such as mountable bugs. You can also customize outfits to acquire special resistances and abilities using various workshops at your camp which can be upgraded over time. Sons of the Forest. For those unfamiliar, The Forest is an ambitious survival horror game that focuses on crafting and combat with surprisingly intelligent enemy AI. Like many survival games, the story is fairly nonlinear, but there was always enough to chew on for players interested in learning about the game's creatures and setting. For the sequel, developer Endling Games looks to be expanding the universe with new characters and events revolving around yet another mysterious island. In addition to better graphics and more fluid combat, Sons of the Forest will be a more team-focused endeavor than the original, which added online multiplayer post-launch.